Thanks, Gillian. Yes, I'm a weaver. I don't get out much, I don't talk much, but when I do, I talk about weaving. It's an ancient method of textile construction, been with us since the Stone Age at least. And as human civilization has developed, weaving has evolved into a fantastic diversity of techniques and traditions. So around the world, we have a whole host of different textile cultures which we celebrate. Now, I belong to a group called Complex Weavers. It's an international organisation. It's run by hand weavers, for hand weavers, and our aim is to encourage weavers to follow their curiosity, step out of their comfort zone, and research and innovate in textiles, and to illustrate how weavers continue to do new things even after 10,000 years. I'm going to introduce you to some of the members of the Complex Weavers tribe, okay? These are my people. So how do weavers innovate? The variables that they have at their disposal. Well, one obviously is the fibre that they use. We have conventional fibres made from wool, linen, and so on. These days, weavers have all sorts of new and exciting fibres to play with. Stacey is using monofilament in this piece here, and she uses the properties of those new fibres contrasted with the traditional fibres to create fantastic 3D sculptural pieces. She's inspired by geological forms, and that's what she's got, some stalactites and strata and things going on here. Another weaver who really loves three-dimensional work, but with a very different aesthetic, is Susie. She has woven this piece. This is a single piece, and there's no cutting or sewing involved. She's used origami techniques to create those folded shapes on the piece of cloth. She's woven it all as a single piece, and so she's been developing this process that allows her to manage and control that really precisely. So you can see all the little separate bits of weaving that are going on in here to construct that single piece of weaving. And she's really honed this to a fine art. Look at this. This is the back of her loom. Loom hacking, it's a thing, okay? Weavers are never satisfied with their equipment as it comes out of the box. So we tinker with it, and we do these high-tech modifications, in this case, to manage the tension on her yarns to make the weaving go smoothly. Now, Sally is another queen of loom intervention. She trained as a sculptor and really didn't see why weaving had to come out flat. So she's actually following a tradition of innovation in weaving, which is to create garments or pieces of garments that are structured on the loom. It's something about weavers and sewing. We just don't want to go there. So she's creating this ruffled piece of fabric, and she's devised a trap across the front of her loom to catch that cloth and keep the gathers out of the way to allow the weaving to progress smoothly. Now, when you've run out of loom interventions, what do you do next? Well, you invent an entirely new loom, and that's what Vibeke did. She's a member of the tribe who lives in Norway. She collaborated with an engineering company there to bring electronic jacquard weaving to hand weavers. And this is the result, released in 2012. Now, you might well ask, once you've got computers and electronics involved, is that still really hand weaving? It's a slippery slope, that debate, isn't it? But the bottom line is that with all of the looms that I'm showing you in these pictures here, when the weaver walks away from the loom, nothing happens. It all stops. And that counts as hand weaving. It totally counts. And just because you have state-of-the-art technology at your disposal does not mean that your process is straightforward. Janice creates these beautiful, beautiful wall pieces using painstaking preparation. She hand paints her warp. She hand paints her wefts. She's got paper wefts there, which you can see are absolutely wild when you get them on the loom. The paper yarn is painted with all those intricate patterns that you saw coming through in the finished piece. So she has to place that also precisely into the cloth. It's an ancient technique called shifted weft ikat, and here she's practicing it in this contemporary context. One of the things that I love most about this tribe is how generous they always are in sharing their processes and helping other weavers to develop. A lot of the material that became these books was shared first of all with members of the group through our magazine, free, gratis, or members mentor study groups. They're just fantastically generous. And like all tribes, we have our elders. Alice is one of those who's been leading and developing other weavers and her own practice for more than 40 years now. And her current work involves taking her fabric that is hand woven on an electronic jacquard loom and making these beautiful hand-bound books. And she's doing that in collaboration with Barbara, who's made the bands here that fasten the books using a technique that involves no loom at all. It's another ancient technique. It's called ply splitting, and it's oddly specific in that it was only ever used by camel herders to make their camel girths. But it's now repurposed by contemporary weavers to make these wonderful statement jewellery pieces, vessels, all kinds of wonderful things. So, you know, even though the tradition is old, the tradition of innovation keeps going. So you might well wonder, well, Callie, what are you doing? Well, I was serving as president of Complex Weavers, okay, so I was doing email. That's basically all I've done for the last 2 years is email and Skype. I'm the queen of Skype. But now I'm back at the loom, and I'm trying to get back in touch with that curiosity that brought me into weaving. So I've been working with linen and stainless steel, and I've turned the design processes over to random numbers. So I'm generating random numbers and producing random designs, long, skinny ribbons in linen and stainless steel, and I'm just letting my curiosity lead me wherever it may. Thank you very much.